In this episode we're going to make the initial setup for our Godot project. Also we'll use simple nodes to create the movement system for our character. Let's click on the project, project settings, and here in the filter type window, display window, and here we've got the viewport width and height. And those parameters are for our game window. And to make it for modern desktops, we'll make the aspect ratio 16:9. And in pixels that will be 640 to 360. We can close it and we'll need the initial scene. So click on 2D scene and you can see that this tab is unsaved. Click Ctrl S and I will call it level 1. So we've got our first scene ready to use, and that will be our main scene. And to this scene we'll add many nodes to make our game. But before that, here in the far right corner, we've got a play icon. Hit on it, that will run the project, and Godot will ask us what's our main scene. And the one we've created will be under this select current. So click on it, and that should start another window that in resolution will be 640 by 360, as we have set up before. We can close it for now. When you click the scroll button on your mouse, you can drag your whole scene. Let's put it in the center and add our first node. Click on this plus icon and type color rect. Godot games are built from different nodes and every node has its own function. And at this point I've already covered most of the 2D nodes possible to use in Godot, so you can check them later. But for now, let's use color rect. That node is very simple. We've got a white square that we'll try to stretch to cover our scene. And on the right side, we've got the inspector. And here are the settings for the node that we are currently using. So on the left, I've got picked color rect. And on the right, I've got the inspector with the settings for it. So click on the color. And this color rect will be used as a grass for us. So I'll make it green. That will be our background. We will need another node that is called character body 2D. And character body 2D will be used as a character that the player will be able to control. Right now you can see that it's nested under the color rect, and the order here is very important because we need to move it up. We can place it on the same indent under the node 2D, right below color rect. We've got a warning that says that this node has no shape, so we have to add the collision. Take a look at our preview, we've got nothing right after adding the character body 2D. So to make our character visible, we need to click right on this node and add child node. Here we'll use another color rect. Let's make him orange, but the warning is still on. This time we'll add child node that it will be collision shape 2D. The warning disappeared, but we've got another one that we need to add shape to it. So here on the right, in the inspector, we've got the settings for our currently selected node, that is collision shape 2D. Click on the empty, new rectangle shape 2D. And on our preview, we've got a blue box. Let's scroll to zoom, and it was added on the position 0 and 0, 0 on Y and 0 on X. But the orange is only touching this 0 and 0 with only one corner. And to change it, we need to click on color rect here on the anchor and click center. Perfect. And our collision shape needs to match the rect that we have created. So drag it to match its size. So we've got our orange character and green grass. So when we run the project, nothing is happening and our orange is barely visible in this corner. And to make simple movement, we have to use GDscript. That's the language used by Godot. It's very similar to Python, but don't worry, I'll explain it as simple as possible. Click on our character body 2D node with the right mouse button and here attach script. Don't change anything and click create. The tab on top has changed from 2D. We can get back to our preview and click script to move to our code editor. And here Godot gave us the template with the basic movement. But this movement logic is designed for platformer games with things like gravity or jumping, but in our top-down game we won't need them, as we will be watching our character from above. Of course, we are creating games, so the potential is limitless, and you can create a top-down game with jumping, but I leave it for the next time. In this game, we will delete this part to leave only function physics process, and here move and slide, and those two variables will also delete them. So it extends character body 2D because we'll need a few things from this, and function physics process is reserved to Godot's nodes. This function will be run over and over again because that's how it is in GDscript. It will start to become more clear as we move on. So here above this function we'll need two variables. First is character direction, and that's vector2, that's the type of this variable, and another variable right below it, character speed. So the character direction at the start has no value and character speed is set to 9000. In our function we have to click tab, and here we'll make a condition if input.is action just pressed UI left, and that is a condition. So when the player hits UI left, that is the left arrow on our keyboard, it will make this condition true and the logic below it will fire. But only left arrow is not enough for us, so we'll need to create 3 more. And after the last, add the colon sign. And we'll need to change the values from UI left to right, up, and down. Okay, perfect. It's very long condition, but don't worry. So here, when those conditions are met, if only one of those keys are pressed, character direction dot x will equal input dot get axis UI left, UI right. And the same for y value, direction.y will equal input.get axis UI up and UI down. And here's the mistake, underscore instead of the dot, and below velocity, that's the value of our character body 2D, will equal character underscore direction times character speed times delta. That delta is passed here in the physics process just to match the keyframes to make it smooth. And right below we've got move and slide. That's the function needed for the movement, so we need to leave it at the bottom of this function. We can save it and run the project. I hit right just once and it flows to the right, down, left, and up. Great, but it doesn't stop. Just one hit on the keyboard and it starts flying all over our game. So we need to improve our condition. Here we'll add else. So if those conditions are met, the else will fire. And here velocity will equal vector 2, 0 and 0. Great, we can run the project again. And just by clicking once, we'll move slightly to the right or down. But in most of the games, the movement of our character is smooth, and just simply by holding the right arrow or down arrow, the character will continue to the direction we have picked for him. And to do that, we need to remove this just with one underscore from every single one of those. So input.is action pressed. Save it, run again. And you can see that our orange character is moving in the game. But you may have already noticed that the speed is a bit weird, because when we move to the left or to the right, we've got the same speed. But when we move with the left and top button, for example, into the two directions, the speed is increasing. And to make it equal, we'll need another line. Character underscore direction equal character direction normalized. Hit save, and the speed is equal for every direction. And that's how we have created the very simple movement logic for our game. That's our first step, but very big one. And you can be proud of yourself for achieving this milestone. But there's still a lot of work to do. So hit on the next episode and let's progress with our game. So see you in the next one.